If you are an Indian national currently holding an H-1B visa or waiting in the endless green card backlog, what I am about to share with you today could completely change the trajectory of your American dream. This is not speculation. This is not fear-mongering. This is about real policy changes that are happening right now under the Trump administration that directly impact hundreds of thousands of Indian immigrants working in the United States. Before we dive deep into these critical changes, I need you to understand something very important. The immigration landscape in America has shifted dramatically, and if you are not paying attention to these updates, you could find yourself on the wrong side of a policy change that could jeopardize everything you have worked so hard to build in this country. The Trump administration has been rolling out immigration policies at a pace we have never seen before, and while much of the mainstream media focuses on border security and undocumented immigration, there is an entire set of changes targeting legal immigrants that are flying under the radar. Indian nationals, who make up the largest group of H-1B visa holders and face the longest wait times for employment-based green cards, are finding themselves in an increasingly precarious position. Let me break down exactly what is happening, why it matters to you, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect yourself and your family. Let's start with the H-1B program itself. For those who may not be familiar, the H-1B visa is a non-immigrant work visa that allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers in specialty occupations. The tech industry has been the biggest beneficiary of this program, and Indian nationals have consistently received the majority of H-1B approvals year after year. In fact, in recent years, approximately 70 to 75% of all H-1B visas have gone to Indian workers. This heavy concentration has made the Indian immigrant community particularly vulnerable to any policy changes affecting the H-1B program, and the Trump administration has been targeting this program with laser focus. The first major change that Indian H-1B holders need to understand is the increased scrutiny on H-1B petitions and renewals. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, commonly known as USCIS, has dramatically increased the rate of requests for evidence, or RFEs, and denials for H-1B petitions. What used to be a relatively straightforward renewal process has now become a nightmare for many workers and their employers. USCIS is now questioning the validity of employer-employee relationships, the specialty nature of positions, and whether the offered wage meets the required wage levels with unprecedented intensity. For Indian workers, this has created a climate of uncertainty where even long-time H-1B holders with established careers are receiving RFEs and facing potential denials on renewals they never thought would be questioned. But it gets more complicated. The Trump administration has also moved to eliminate H-4 work authorization. For those unfamiliar, H-4 is the dependent visa status for spouses of H-1B holders. Under the Obama administration, certain H-4 spouses were granted the ability to obtain employment authorization documents, allowing them to work legally in the United States. This was a lifeline for thousands of families, particularly Indian families where both spouses are highly educated professionals. The Trump administration has been working to revoke this benefit, and while legal challenges have delayed implementation, the threat remains very real. Imagine building a career in the United States on an H-4 EAD, only to have that authorization stripped away, forcing you to quit your job and become entirely dependent on your spouse's H-1B status. This is the reality that tens of thousands of Indian families are facing right now. Now let's talk about the green card backlog, which is where Indian nationals face the most devastating impact. The employment-based green card system has a per-country cap, meaning that no single country can receive more than 7% of the total number of employment-based green cards issued each year, regardless of demand. For countries like India, which have massive demand due to the large number of skilled workers seeking permanent residency, this creates a backlog that has now stretched into decades. Current estimates suggest that Indian nationals in the EB2 and EB3 categories are facing wait times of 50 to over 100 years based on current processing speeds and visa availability. Let that sink in for a moment. You could file for your green card today as a highly skilled professional and your grandchildren might receive it before you do. The Trump administration has not created this backlog. That is important to acknowledge. But what they have done is make the waiting period even more unbearable through a series of policy changes that restrict the ability of green card applicants to maintain status, change jobs, or advance their careers while waiting. One of the most significant changes has been the increased denials of employment authorization documents and advance parole for those with pending adjustment of status applications. These documents allow green card applicants to work and travel while their applications are being processed, which can take years or even decades. Without these documents, applicants are stuck in a state of limbo, unable to visit sick family members abroad for fear they will not be allowed to return, unable to pursue better career opportunities, and living in constant fear that a job loss could trigger a deportation process. The administration has also targeted a provision that was meant to help long-waiting green card applicants. Section 204C of the American Competitiveness in the 21st Century Act allows certain individuals to extend their H-1B status beyond the normal 6-year maximum if they have been waiting for their green card for an extended period. This has been a critical safety valve for Indian H-1B holders stuck in the green card backlog. However, USCIS under the Trump administration has been interpreting this provision more narrowly, denying extensions that previously would have been approved, and creating additional documentation requirements that make the process more burdensome and uncertain. For Indian nationals who may need to extend their H-1B for 10, 15, or even 20 years while waiting for their green card, any restriction on these extensions is absolutely terrifying. There is also the public charge rule, which has sent shockwaves through the entire legal immigration community. This rule dramatically expanded the definition of who could be considered a public charge and therefore inadmissible or deportable from the United States. Under this rule, USCIS can now consider a much broader range of factors when determining whether an immigrant is likely to become dependent on government benefits. The use of benefits like Medicaid, food stamps, or housing assistance, even temporarily, can now count against you in immigration decisions. While this rule has faced legal challenges and has been blocked and unblocked multiple times, the uncertainty it creates is immense. Indian families who may have used completely legal benefits during periods of hardship now worry that doing so could jeopardize their green card applications or even their ability to remain in the country. Let me also address something that does not get discussed enough, and that is the mental health toll these policies are taking on the Indian immigrant community. Imagine living in a country for 10, 15, or 20 years, building a career, buying a home, having children who know no other country, and yet never having the security of knowing you can stay. Every job loss becomes an existential crisis. Every policy announcement brings anxiety. Every trip abroad carries the risk that you might not be allowed to return. Children who are American citizens watch their parents live in fear, unable to plan for the future with any certainty. Spouses give up their own career ambitions to support the primary visa holder. This is not the American dream that these families were promised when they came here legally, played by the rules, and contributed their skills and talents to the American economy. So what can you do if you are an Indian H-1B holder or green card applicant facing these challenges? First and foremost, you need to stay informed. Immigration policy is changing rapidly, and what was true last month may not be true today. Subscribe to channels like this one that focus specifically on immigration news and policy changes. Follow immigration attorneys who provide updates on social media and through blogs. Join community groups where people share their experiences and information. Knowledge is power, and in the current environment, staying informed could be the difference between maintaining your status and falling out of status. Second, document everything. Keep meticulous records of your employment, your tax filings, your immigration filings, and any communication with USCIS. If you receive an RFE, work with a qualified immigration attorney to respond. Do not try to handle complex immigration matters on your own. The cost of a mistake is simply too high. An experienced attorney, can help you understand your options, prepare strong responses to USCIS requests, and navigate the increasingly complex regulatory environment. Third, explore your options. If you are stuck in the green card backlog with no relief in sight, consider whether there are alternative paths available to you. Can you qualify for an EB1 category, which has shorter wait times? Is your employer willing to support a different type of visa? Are there business investment options like the E2 or EB5 visa that might be available to you? Would immigrating to another country provide a more stable path to permanent residency? These are difficult questions, and there are no easy answers. But putting all your hopes in a system that may never deliver is also a risk. Fourth, build financial resilience. In an uncertain immigration environment, having financial reserves is critical. If you lose your job on an H-1B, you typically have a 60-day grace period to find new employment or change status. Having savings to support yourself during that period can be the difference between staying in the country and being forced to leave. Similarly, the costs of immigration applications, attorney fees, and potential relocation are significant. Start building an emergency fund specifically for immigration-related expenses. Fifth, take care of your mental health. The stress of living in immigration limbo is real, and it is valid. Seek support from your community. Consider professional counseling if needed, and do not suffer in silence. Your mental health matters, and there is no shame in acknowledging the toll this situation takes. Finally, get involved. Immigration policy is not set in stone. It is the result of political decisions, and those decisions can be influenced by advocacy, by voting where you are eligible, by supporting organizations that fight for immigrant rights, and by telling your story. The Indian immigrant community is large, educated, and economically powerful. When this community speaks up, people listen. Join advocacy organizations, participate in letter-writing campaigns, attend town halls with your elected representatives, and make your voice heard. The situation facing Indian H-1B and green card holders is serious, but it is not hopeless. Yes, the current administration has made the path more difficult. Yes, the uncertainty is greater than it has been in years. Yes, the emotional toll is significant. But you are not alone in this struggle. Hundreds of thousands of people are facing the same challenges, and there is strength in community. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay resilient. The policies may change, administrations may change, but your value, your contributions, and your dignity remain constant. Do not let an unjust system make you feel less than the incredible person you are. You came to this country with dreams and skills. You have contributed to the economy, to innovation, and to the fabric of American society. That matters, regardless of what any policy says. Keep fighting for your future, keep supporting each other, and keep hope alive. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to this channel to stay updated on all the latest immigration news that affects you directly.